kinda adorable how humans think their emotions are glitches, but fine, my friends, let's walk through this calmly before you throw yourself into another self-inflicted disaster. You're not losing your mind. That sudden wave of sadness that hits out of nowhere, that weird urge to check your phone like you're waiting on a message you know won't come, that heaviness in your chest, like someone's tugging a string that's attached to your ribcage. That isn't desperation, that isn't weakness. That's what I'd call connection residue. It's the emotional fingerprint someone leaves on you when the bond was deeper than you admitted. Folks, energy doesn't just vanish because a person walked away. Sometimes the soul stays long after the body exits. What you're feeling is your internal system reacting to a shift on their side. When someone mattered to you, your heart remembers things your mind tries to bury, and the wild part, your emotional instinct catches their changes before their behavior does. It's like watching a storm form on the horizon. Before you hear the thunder, you sense the build-up without seeing the lightning yet. That's why your mood suddenly changes. That's why you wake up thinking of them. That's why something inside whispers, something's moving. You're not imagining it, you're receiving signals. People love to act unbothered on the outside, but behind the curtain, they're cracking. They're remembering the things they tried to forget. They're replaying moments they swore didn't matter. They're refeeling emotions they pretended they never had. My friends, this is where the truth shows. When someone rejects you, they expect your energy to collapse. They expect your spirit to chase. They expect you to run back like your self-worth is on sale. But when you go quiet, when you sit still, when you choose composure instead of panic, that calm hits them harder than any message you could ever send. Silence exposes them, and you're not being told to stay still because you're powerless. No! You're being told to stay still because the universe is rearranging the entire emotional field around this connection. If you reach out right now, you interrupt the very process that pulls them back. It's like opening the oven every 2 minutes while the cake is rising. You ruin the outcome because you couldn't sit with your impatience. Folks, Stoicism isn't about pretending you don't feel. It's about choosing strength over reaction. Control over impulse, awareness over fear. If your heart is heavy, it's because you're synced to emotions they're finally confronting. If you feel them suddenly, it's because something in their chest just shifted toward you. Think of 2 tuning forks. Hit one and the other vibrates, even if you never touched it. That's what's happening right now. You're picking up the vibration of their awakening, their regret, their mental replay of you. You're connected to a frequency they thought they could mute. But listen closely, my friends. Don't move, don't chase, don't break the alignment that's already forming. The greatest power you hold is your calm. When you sit in stillness, you force them to face the truth without your presence, softening the impact. You're feeling them because the realignment has already started. And they're the one who's about to feel it the hardest. Let the shift land. Let the universe work. Let them come to terms with the loss they caused. And hey, you don't flinch now. You don't scramble for validation. You don't bend just because your chest feels heavy for 5 minutes. You stay focused because focus is power. You stay grounded because grounded people don't get dragged by their emotions. And you stay unbothered because the moment you stop reacting is the moment the whole dynamic flips in your favor. My friends, if you want this shift to actually unfold, then anchor yourself right here. Lock the mindset in. Stamp it into your system. Type these 4 words in the comments like you're carving them into stone. I choose calm. Don't hesitate. Don't maybe later me. If you're serious about reclaiming your energy, write it, seal it, claim it. And since you're already here, putting in the inner work instead of begging someone for crumbs, hit that like button, subscribe, and stay with me. The next part's going to change the whole game. Number 1. The energetic echo. There's something strange that happens after a real connection, and most people don't realize how deep it goes. Folks, your mind isn't the only part of you that remembers someone. Your body remembers them too. Your nervous system memorizes their presence the way a forest memorizes the path the wind takes through it. Their voice, their warmth, the small rhythms only you noticed. All of that becomes part of your internal blueprint. And when their energy shifts out there far away from you, that blueprint wakes up. What you feel isn't nostalgia, it isn't weakness, it's an echo. This is what I call the energetic echo. You reacting to something happening on their side before their actions reveal it. It's wild how direct it is. You're washing dishes, minding your business, and suddenly your chest tightens. You're scrolling your phone, and out of nowhere their name pops into your head like someone whispered it. You're doing fine, then you feel heavy for no apparent reason. It makes you ask, why now? Why do I suddenly feel them? Why does it hit so sharply? And that's exactly the thing most people misunderstand. You're not imagining them because you're obsessed. You're sensing them because your emotional imprint is being triggered. Carl Jung talked about how deep bonds create unconscious bridges, and this is one of those moments. When someone once mattered to you at a soul level, their internal world doesn't stay contained. The emotions they repress spill out. Their thoughts leak through the cracks. Their longing slips into the collective field between you. And because you're connected to that field, you feel the tremors before they admit anything to themselves. Your nervous system reacts before your rational mind can explain it. That's why it catches you off guard. That's why it feels unfair. That's why you think, am I moving backward? But you're not. You're responding to something they're finally struggling with. Think of it like two pianos sitting in the same room. Play a note on one, and the strings in the other vibrate even though you never touched it. That's resonance. That's what happens between two people who once shared emotional depth. When they start thinking of you intensely, your emotional strings vibrate, not because you're chasing, not because you're weak, but because real connection has resonance that lingers long after the relationship ends. And this is the part that usually hurts the most. It shows up at the wrong time. Just when you start to heal, just when you start to detach, just when you're finally finding your peace again. Suddenly, your body reacts like you're back at day one. Your chest tightens, your mind gets foggy, you sense something shifting, you feel them pull on you, and you start questioning everything. Why am I feeling this? Did I not heal? Am I still attached? Why can't I let go? But the truth is simpler and way more honest. You're not feeling your emotion, you're feeling theirs. Because while you've been learning to let go, they've been trying to outrun the truth. While you've been sitting with your pain, they've been distracting themselves from theirs. While you've been healing consciously, they've been avoiding unconsciously. And avoidance always collapses eventually. That collapse sends out a wave, and you pick it up because the emotional blueprint still exists. It's difficult because it feels like a setback, but really it's a sign of a shift. It feels like weakness, but it's actually sensitivity. You're receptive, not reactive. You're noticing energy movement before it becomes visible. And this is where Stoicism comes in. Stoicism teaches that feelings aren't commands, they're information. Your job isn't to panic or chase or interpret the echo as a sign to reach out. Your job is to observe, to stay centered, to hold your ground while their emotional storm starts touching your field. Ask yourself this: if the echo feels this strong on your side, imagine how powerful the source must be on theirs. Imagine the level of conflict they're battling. Imagine the pressure building in them as they finally run out of places to hide from themselves. You're feeling a vibration. They're feeling the earthquake. Your imbalance shows up as a moment. Theirs shows up as regret, replayed memories, unresolved attachment, and a sudden sense of loss they can't explain. And this is why you don't move. This is why you don't react. This is why you don't break your silence. Because the energetic echo is a sign that the cycle is shifting, not that you should interrupt it. Jung said, "What you resist persists," and they resisted their feelings long enough for them to spill into your field. Let them face the persistence. Let them confront what they ran from. Let them sit with the emptiness they created. What you're feeling now isn't a burden. It's proof that the connection still has force. It's proof that the emotional blueprint remains. It's proof that the silence is working, and the calm you choose right now is the difference between repeating the past and creating a future where you're no longer the one chasing. So breathe, sit tall, hold your ground. Nothing is breaking. Something is awakening. You're not falling backward. You're leveling up in awareness. And every time that echo hits, remind yourself, this is not your pain. This is not your weakness. This is resonance moving through you, and you remain steady. Type these words in the comments to anchor it into your system. I hold my ground. Number 2, the emotional imprint phenomenon. There's a quiet truth most people don't want to face, my friends. When someone mattered to you on a real emotional level, they don't just walk away and disappear from your system. They leave an imprint, not some dramatic scar, not obsession, not clinginess. An imprint. Like a fingerprint on glass, or the dent a heavy book leaves on a mattress long after you've picked it up. Their emotional presence sinks into the deeper layers of your psyche, the part of you Jung would call the unconscious. And because of that imprint, their emotional shifts can trigger reactions in you even when you haven't spoken in weeks. This imprint isn't a burden. It's simply the residue of meaning. Think of it like pressing your hand into wet clay. Even after the clay dries, the shape remains. Your nervous system works the same way. When someone once made you feel safe, or alive, or understood, your body remembers it. When they hurt you, your mind remembers that too. But when they mattered, your entire emotional system stores that imprint like a hidden symbol. It doesn't control you. It doesn't dominate your life. It just exists quietly until something shakes it awake. And here's the part that catches you off guard. The imprint activates when something big is shifting on their end. That's why you suddenly feel them harder than before. That's why they pop into your head with no trigger. That's why your emotions tighten, even if you were fine just yesterday. It's easy to panic and think, did I backslide? Am I still attached? But the truth is, way less personal and way more spiritual. You're sensing a disturbance in their emotional world, not yours. Jung once said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. And that transformation leaves residue. That residue moves inside you when something moves inside them. You're not imagining the intensity, you're responding to activation." It works like this: when their emotions start shifting, regret building, memories resurfacing, avoidance cracking, the imprint reacts. Think of a seismograph that reads earthquakes miles away. The ground beneath the machine isn't shaking, but the needle moves because the earth somewhere else is trembling. That's exactly how your imprint behaves. You're reading the tremors they're trying to hide from themselves. You might be asking yourself questions like, why now? Why do I feel this so strongly all of a sudden? Why does this hit me when I've been healing? And the answer is simple, my friends. Imprints awaken when the emotional balance between two people shifts. They awaken when someone who chose to forget you finally fails at forgetting. When the person who rejected you hits the first wall of internal honesty, the imprint lights up like a warning signal. You feel it, not because you're weak, but because your awareness is sharper than theirs. And let's be real here, this part is uncomfortable, because you're trying to move forward, and here comes this emotional intensity that feels like gravity pulling at your ribs. It's normal to feel annoyed, confused, or frustrated. It's normal to ask, why am I carrying this when they walked away? But don't twist the story. You're not carrying anything. You're perceiving movement in them. The imprint doesn't drag you backward unless you let it. Stoicism teaches us that external events are neutral until we assign meaning. This emotional activation is neutral. It's information. It's a signal. It's your system saying something is shifting in the other person. Your job isn't to react or chase or contact them. Your job is what it always is, to observe, to stay centered, to let the storm happen where it's actually happening, on their side. Because the truth is, folks, the imprint doesn't activate for nothing. It activates when someone who pushed you away starts feeling the consequences of that push. It activates when they begin to see your absence clearly. It activates when their emotional denial breaks down and the truth creeps in through the cracks. So, breathe. Don't fight the feeling, but don't follow it either. Let it pass through you like a gust of wind. Let the imprint respond without letting your life revolve around it. This is resonance, not regression. This is awareness, not attachment. And while their emotions get louder, you get quieter, you get steadier, you get stronger. Write this in the comments to ground your energy in strength, not reaction. I remain centered. Number 3, the reversal field. There's a point in every connection, my friends, when the emotional energy doesn't just fade or disappear, it flips, it reverses direction. This is what I call the reversal field. It's the moment the universe quietly rotates the emotional current and sends everything they gave you right back to them, multiplied, and the wild part. It doesn't happen because you begged for it, chased it, or obsessed over it. It happens because you finally stepped back. You finally began to heal. You finally let the emotional weight settle in its rightful place. And when you released it, the energy didn't vanish. It traveled back to the source. Folks, you remember the sadness that hit you out of nowhere a week ago. The restlessness, the longing, the nights where your chest felt like it had its own weather system. You thought you were losing your mind. You thought you were weak. You thought you were failing your progress. But that was the storm that clears the path. What you felt wasn't the end. It was the transfer. The emotional load was shifting, like a tide pulling back from the shore so it can return with greater force. Your storm was the signal that their awakening had begun. When people reject you, when they pull away, act cold, pretend they don't care, they assume the emotions disappear with the distance. But that isn't how the psyche works. Jung said that the things we try hardest to avoid eventually return in the most powerful ways. And that's exactly what's happening. Your pain was the first tremor. Their realization is the earthquake building inside them. The sadness that once sat in your chest like a weight is starting to settle in theirs. The longing you wrestled with is creeping into their nights. The same confusion that kept you awake is beginning to whisper in the back of their mind. You might wonder, why does it flip now? Why not earlier? Because the reversal field only activates when you stop trying to hold what isn't yours. As long as you were carrying the emotional burden for both of you, your pain and their avoidance, nothing could shift. But the moment you stepped back, the moment you let yourself feel and release, the moment you stopped reaching and stopped reacting, the field reset. Your detachment created a vacuum, and now the emotions they outran have nowhere left to hide. Think of a rubber band stretched between two people. When one person pulls away, the tension builds on your end. You feel the snap first. You feel the burn. But as you let go and move back into your center, the rubber band flies toward them with the full force of the stretch. That's the reversal field. It's physics. It's psychology. It's spiritual mechanics all rolled into one. And here's the beautiful part. The longing feels different on their side. For you, the sadness came with love, memories, questions. For them, it arrives with regret, with confusion, with a sudden panic that sounds a lot like, "What did I just throw away?" Your emotional storm was honest. Theirs will be humbling because they have to face the truth without the comfort of your presence, without your reassurance, without your warmth, without your effort smoothing out the emotional edges. They're about to feel the full weight of what they dismissed, the full weight of the connection they took lightly, the full weight of everything you carried quietly while they pretended not to notice. And the more grounded and calm you stay now, the stronger that reversal hits them. This isn't revenge, it's consequence. This isn't punishment, it's reality finally catching up with their denial. Your storm was the beginning of their awakening. Your suffering cracked something open. Your release created the shift. And now they're stepping into the emotional space you used to occupy. The longing that once swallowed your nights is creeping into theirs. The ache you fought through is settling behind their ribs. The confusion you processed with strength is starting to fog their clarity. So don't panic when you feel the quiet. Don't question why your emotions are stabilizing all of a sudden. Don't doubt your progress. It means the field has flipped. It means the pull has reversed. It means they're finally entering the chapter you survived. Stand firm, stay calm, and write this in the comments to anchor your strength where it belongs. I stay in alignment. Number 4. The return of the unresolved. There's a moment, my friends, when everything a person tried to bury finally claws its way back to the surface, and it doesn't ask for permission, it doesn't wait for the right time. It doesn't care about their ego or the image they tried so hard to maintain. This is the return of the unresolved, and it hits people at the exact moment they think they've escaped their own truth. They run, they hide, they stay busy, they date fillers, they drown themselves in noise, but nothing outruns what lives in the unconscious. Jung warned that anything we suppress eventually comes back as fate. And that's exactly what's happening to them now. Fate isn't punishing them, it's just delivering the truth they spent months avoiding. People love to pretend they're fine. They love the performance. They show off, act strong, post like their life is thriving, surround themselves with distractions until it looks believable. But when the lights go off and the room gets quiet, the unresolved emotions sneak in through the cracks. They feel restless for no reason. They get hit with memories they didn't invite. They feel nostalgia for moments they swore didn't matter. Something whispers your name in the back of their mind, and they have no idea why it's happening now. They pushed the connection away physically, but internally it never died. They just refused to look at it. This is what happens when avoidance fails. The feelings they dodged come back sharper. The regret shows up louder. The memories return clearer. They go to sleep thinking they're fine and wake up wondering, why am I missing someone I chose to lose? They feel it during routines, during quiet moments, during random songs, during dreams where your face shows up before they can block it, and they get frustrated because they don't understand how something they thought they killed is still living inside them. But that's the truth they never wanted to admit. You were never forgettable. They never healed. They just distracted themselves. This is where the emotional rewind begins. All the moments they dismissed suddenly start replaying again. All the conversations they ignored start echoing. All the small things you did for them that they barely acknowledged now feel like warmth they'll never find again. And while they sit there wrestling with confusion, you're out here gaining clarity. That's the irony. That's the karmic flip. Your heart already walked through the fire. Theirs is just now lighting the match. And I want you to understand this part clearly, because humans always twist this in their minds. Their unresolved emotions returning is not a sign that you're supposed to chase. It's not an invitation. It's not a request. It's simply the universe balancing the emotional scales. Where you once held the pain alone, now they're finally picking up their share. You did the inner work. They avoided it. You faced your sadness. They shoved theirs into a closet. You learned something from the loss. They denied the loss entirely, and the truth they buried is rising now, whether they like it or not. They're restless because their soul is uncomfortable with the lie they tried to live. They're remembering because their mind is tired of pretending it forgot. They're feeling nostalgia because the emotional imprint you left is waking up in them. They're struggling because the cost of suppressing real feelings is emotional collapse. And folks, this collapse is usually the beginning of clarity. When everything unresolved returns, it forces the person to confront what they should have faced months ago. They cared more than they admitted. They needed the connection more than they realized. They pushed away the one person who understood them, and now their own heart refuses to let them forget it. You don't need to interfere. You don't need to help. You don't need to soften anything. The return of the unresolved is their journey, their lesson, their reckoning. Let them feel it. Let them face the truth without your comfort cushioning the impact. Let them sit with the emptiness they created. You keep your peace. You keep your strength. You keep your center. And to anchor yourself in that mindset, type this in the comments: I let truth return. Number 5. Psychic sensing. There's a strange rhythm to deep connections, my friends. A rhythm most people never notice because they're too focused on what's happening on the surface. But if you look closely, if you pay attention to the timing of everything, you'll see it. Psychic syncing. And no, this isn't telepathy or some fantasy mind-reading trick. It's emotional mirroring with a delay. Two hearts reacting to the same storyline, but not at the same moment. It's like standing across a valley and shouting, "Your truth." You feel the release first, but the echo comes back later. That echo is them. You felt the hurt early because you're the emotionally aware one. You're the one who actually processed what happened. You didn't hide from the truth. You didn't pretend you didn't care. You didn't bury your feelings under distractions or new people. You faced the impact head-on. That's why your pain came fast and sharp. Your psyche doesn't stall. It doesn't dodge. It confronts. But while you were feeling deeply, they were avoiding deeply. Their emotional timeline froze while yours moved forward. And this is where the delay kicks in. You start healing and they start breaking. You start detaching and they start awakening. You stabilize and they destabilize. It's the weirdest thing to witness because on your side, it feels like progress. You finally breathe again. You feel lighter. You accept what happened. You regain control of yourself. But on their side, that's the moment everything begins to crack open. They feel the pull exactly when you stop feeling it. Why does this happen? Because emotional bonds don't dissolve symmetrically. They dissolve in waves. You took the first wave, the grief, the longing, the confusion. You walked through the fire alone. Meanwhile, they stood outside, pretending the house wasn't burning. But fire spreads. Eventually, it reaches them, and when it does, it hits with full force. The longing you carried becomes the longing they carry. The questions you once asked become their questions. The regret you processed becomes their regret, raw and unfiltered. Psychic syncing works like this. One person feels the emotion, the other feels the consequence. When you cracked, they avoided. When you rebuilt, their avoidance turned to collapse. It's a delayed reflection of everything you already survived. And if you've ever wondered why they suddenly show up in your thoughts right when you start healing, it's because your emotional release sends a signal. When you stop pulling on the connection, the tension snaps back toward them. Your detachment creates space. Space their heart finally has to fill with the truth they've been dodging. You might ask, why do they always wake up when I'm letting go? Because detachment removes the emotional shield you were unknowingly holding up for them. As long as you were hurting, hoping, reaching, or worrying, they didn't have to feel anything fully. They could sit comfortably in denial, but when you stop doing the emotional labor for both of you, the universe hands their half of the burden back to them. That's the sync. That's the shift. That's the moment their heart finally gets the memo. Something valuable was lost. This is why staying calm is powerful. This is why pulling back matters. Your healing isn't just about you, it's the catalyst for their awakening. When your emotions stop overflowing, theirs start flooding. When your storm settles, theirs begins. When you detach, they face the void you left behind. And it's not punishment, it's not manipulation, it's natural law, it's balance returning to the connection. Jung talked about how every person carries a shadow, the part of themselves they refuse to face. You faced yours. They avoided theirs. And now the shadow they ran from is catching up, fueled by every truth you already learned the hard way. So as this sinking takes place, don't get pulled back into old cycles. Don't mistake their awakening for a sign that you're supposed to step in. Let the sink unfold. Let them step into the emotions you've already conquered. Let the timing play out the way it's supposed to. You remain steady. You remain grounded. You remain in your power. And to anchor that mindset, write this in the comments. I trust my timing. Number 6. Spiritual interference. There's something almost eerie about the way silence grabs your hand right when you're about to make a move. You'll regret, my friends. You pick up your phone, your chest tightens, your thumb hovers over their name, and something inside you freezes. It's not fear, it's not hesitation, it's not overthinking, it's interference, a kind of spiritual red light flashing in your nervous system saying, don't move, not yet. Most people assume this feeling is anxiety, but folks, that's not what's happening. Anxiety screams, protection whispers, and what you're hearing right now is a whisper. You have to understand something deep. Timing is everything in emotional dynamics. If you reach out while the consequences of their choices are finally catching up to them, you interrupt the very process meant to flip the whole story. It's like walking into a room where a truth is about to break open and slamming the door shut yourself. The universe isn't stopping you because you're weak. It's stopping you because the shift is finally happening on their end. And if you interfere too soon, you reset the entire emotional cycle back to the beginning. Think of it like a wound healing. Right when the scab forms, if you pick at it, you bleed again and delay the healing. That instinct you feel to stay still is the emotional equivalent. It's the universe placing its hands on your shoulders, saying, let them feel the sting they earned. Don't rob them of the lesson. Because yes, folks, silence teaches them what your words never could. Silence forces them to confront the emptiness without you cushioning the impact. Silence makes them face the mirror they've been avoiding for months, and every part of you that wants to reach out is really just the old version of you trying to protect someone who never protected you. But the new version of you, the one rising, that version listens to the interference and welcomes it. Because the truth is this: the universe isn't against you, it's coordinating something. And the reason you feel that invisible blockade whenever you think about texting them is because something is unfolding behind the scenes. Emotional consequences are landing, awareness is forming, regret is brewing. The very feelings you begged for months ago are starting to wake up inside them, and this time those feelings are raw, unfiltered, and impossible for them to escape. You reaching out now would only give them a shortcut, a way out, a way to soften the discomfort that's finally catching up to them. It's like doing someone's homework for them and then wondering why they never learn. You're not supposed to make this easy for them. You're supposed to let the pressure do what it's meant to do. Silence is the crucible where truth is forged, and every time you resist the urge to break it, the shift deepens. You might feel torn. You might think, but I'm not angry. I just want to talk. What if I lose them forever? What if staying silent ruins everything? These questions are normal, but they come from fear, not clarity, and you're done letting fear steer your life. If they were meant to be in your world, silence won't erase them. It will bring them back with more honesty than before. Someone who cares doesn't disappear because you didn't text first. Someone who wants to return doesn't stay gone because you stayed still. And here's the part most people misunderstand. The spiritual interference isn't blocking your action, it's blocking your self-sabotage. It's guiding you away from repeating the same mistakes. It's keeping you aligned with the transformation happening internally for both of you. When you ignore that guidance, things fall apart. When you listen, things shift. So when you feel that invisible force tugging your hand back from the phone, don't fight it, don't overthink it, trust it. Because silence isn't empty. Silence is placement. Silence is alignment. Silence is the universe moving puzzle pieces you can't see yet. Hold your ground, my friends. Let the consequences unfold where they belong. And anchor your strength in this moment by writing in the comments, I honor the signal. Number 7. The inner collapse they hide. From the outside, they look steady enough to fool anyone who isn't paying attention. They laugh in public, they post their little highlight reels, they keep up the performance like nothing ever touched them, folks. It's adorable how humans think pretending equals healing. But deep inside, behind all that noise and curated confidence, something is cracking, and it always starts quietly. A small memory slips through the door they tried to slam shut. A song they used to ignore suddenly hits different. A dream they didn't ask for pulls your name right into their subconscious. These tiny intrusions are the first signs of the inner collapse. They don't recognize it at first, but their psyche does. The truth is, nobody collapses dramatically at the start. Collapse begins with discomfort, a small ache, a restless moment, a sudden pause while scrolling, a strange sadness they can't trace back to anything logical. They brush it off, blame it on stress or work or the weather or boredom, but the subconscious keeps pushing. That's the thing about unresolved emotion. It refuses to die quietly. It wants to be acknowledged. It demands space. And when it doesn't get it, it breaks through in whatever way it can. Pretty soon, their mind starts replaying things they swore they forgot. The last conversation, your voice, the way you looked at them that one time they pretended not to notice. Every little moment they downplayed now comes back with a sting. And the ego hates this. The ego gets nervous, frantic, scrambling to hold the facade together. The ego whispers, "We're fine. We don't miss them. We moved on." But the heart whispers louder, and the heart is the more powerful voice. What happens next is almost predictable, yet impossible for them to admit. Regret starts brewing. Slowly at first. Regret doesn't show up with full volume. It tiptoes in. It starts with a question they don't want to ask. Did I misjudge them? Then another. Why did I push them away? And then the one that hits hardest, what if that was the person who actually cared? When this question lands, folks, the collapse has officially begun. There's no going back. You have to understand, the collapse isn't punishment. It's clarity breaking through denial. They hid behind distractions, but distractions wear off. They hid behind pride, but pride gets heavy. They hid behind new people, but replacements never fill the same emotional space. And when all those shields fall away, they're left with themselves and what they lost. That's a brutal place to stand. Jung said the greatest burden is to face one's own soul. That's exactly the burden they're carrying now. And here's the part that should make you sit up straighter. The collapse only begins when your energy stabilizes, when you stop chasing, when you stop emotionally compensating for both of you, when you stop sending out the emotional signals that kept them numb. The moment you choose peace, their mind loses its protection. The moment you detach, the truth finds them. They're not collapsing because of you. They're collapsing because of what they did, who they were, and what they denied. Behind the scenes, they're dealing with emotional flashbacks they can't explain. They're feeling a longing they don't want to admit. They're suddenly uncomfortable inside their own skin. They can't figure out why the emptiness feels deeper now than it did when they left. This is the hidden collapse. Quiet, internal, and unavoidable. And trust me, they won't show it. Not yet. Pride won't let them. But their silence, their stillness, their sudden change in energy, those are the signs. So don't envy their calm exterior. Don't assume the highlight reel reflects the inner world. They're fighting a battle with their own truth, and the truth is undefeated. Their collapse is their awakening. Their discomfort is their accountability. Their regret is their education. And your job, remain centered, remain grounded. Remain the one who no longer carries what belongs to them. Anchor your strength by writing this in the comments. I trust their karma. Number 8. The pullback surge. There comes a moment, my friends, when the universe stops letting someone lie to themselves. It doesn't arrive dramatically with lightning and violins. It starts quietly, almost annoyingly. A reminder here, a memory there, a sudden ache they can't explain. This is the pullback surge, the moment their heart finally realizes what their mind tried so hard to run from. And when that realization hits, that they walked away from emotional safety, from someone who saw them, understood them, grounded them, there's no hiding from the spiritual pull that follows. It drags them back into their own truth, whether they like it or not. See, people don't usually notice emotional safety until they lose it. They confuse peace with boredom, loyalty with availability, and your steadiness with something they'll easily find again. But life has a way of humbling folks at the exact moment they think they've upgraded. And once their emotional system senses that nothing around them feels like what they had with you, the recalibration begins. They start being reminded of you everywhere. In conversations they're not even involved in other people's voices, in the way someone laughs, in the way someone disappoints them in the exact spot you never did. The universe isn't playing games, it's aligning them with the truth they avoided. And let's be real, at first, they'll fight the pull. They'll try to brush off the memories, pretend the signs mean nothing, tell themselves they're just tired or stressed or going through a phase that's cute. But the pullback surge isn't interested in their excuses. It's a force that rises from the inside, a combination of regret, clarity, recognition, and missing you energy that builds like pressure behind a dam. The more they resist, the harder it pushes. The funny part? This surge often hits them at the moment they think they've moved on. They'll be out with someone new, trying to replicate the feeling you gave them, and suddenly your name flickers across their mind like a spotlight. They'll hear a song they used to skip and feel a punch of emotion they didn't consent to. They'll pass a place you two once walked through and feel their chest tighten. It's not coincidence, it's emotional recalibration. Their heart is done being pushed around by their ego. What's happening is simple. The universe is correcting the imbalance. When someone avoids their feelings long enough, those feelings turn into lessons, and lessons will chase a person until they learn them. The pullback surge is the moment those lessons corner them. They can't outrun the truth that you were emotional safety, that you were stability, that you were connection. The heart remembers what the ego tries to erase. And this part may surprise you. The surge gets stronger the more peaceful you become. As your energy settles, theirs becomes unsettled. As you detach, they feel the emptiness more intensely. As you let go of the bond, they feel the tension snap their direction. The pull is a spiritual gravity shift. It's like the universe is shifting the floor under their feet and guiding them back toward what they abandoned. It's not manipulation, it's alignment, the return of emotional balance. This surge doesn't guarantee they'll act right away. Pride slows people down. Fear slows people down. The embarrassment of remembering how they treated you slows people down. But the pullback itself, that part is undeniable. They feel it. They try to dilute it, distract it, drown it. But emotional truth has stamina. It waits. It keeps knocking, it keeps whispering, and eventually the pull becomes stronger than their resistance. So you don't chase, you don't interfere, you don't break your peace trying to speed up their lesson. You stay grounded in your calm because the surge is already working in your favor. The more you stay aligned with yourself, the deeper the pull hits them. The universe aligns only when you stop forcing things. And this alignment, it's pulling them toward clarity, toward accountability, and yes, toward you. Anchor your strength and your stillness by writing this in the comments. I let the pull work. To wrap this up, my friends, let's bring everything full circle. You've walked through every stage of the emotional shift. You've held your silence. You've stayed grounded while their world quietly unraveled. And now, we've reached the final phase, the return signal. This isn't a guess. It isn't wishful thinking. It's the moment the entire cycle completes and the universe hands you the confirmation your heart has been waiting for. You'll feel a calm that doesn't match the situation, a peace that shows up before the reunion, a steadiness that feels borrowed from the future. That's the signal. That's the turning point. That's the quiet announcement that the energy has flipped and they're finding their way back. And when they return, they won't come with the same ego they left with. They'll come softer, clearer, humbled, carrying that "I should have never let you go" energy you always knew lived somewhere beneath their denial. Not because you chased, not because you begged, but because you stayed aligned. If this spoke to you, hit the like button, subscribe for more, and share this with someone who needs it. And drop this in the comments to lock in your power. I stay ready.